and CDC, and by comparing the deaths before Fukushima for 14 weeks and after Fukushima, and then expanding on the data, we found that there has been an increase in deaths in the United States. This has been corroborated by findings of deaths, particularly of children younger than 1 year in British Columbia.
Which is one of the first places where the radiation would hit. So you say younger than 1 year. Is it that, in fact, I thought that the death rate for children that age had actually been declining in the United States until the Fukushima reactor.
Correct.
It had been, and then the death rate went up. In other words, thousands died. Why just under 1 year? And what does this have to do with Chernobyl?
Well, this is what the same findings we found after Chernobyl, and I'm the editor of the book, and I'll hold it up here, on Chernobyl, catastrophe for people and the environment. And what we found was that children, because their immune systems are not fully formed, and because their detoxification systems are not functioning fully, and because they, you're talking about a child maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pounds, and which is they receive a proportionally much higher dose than does an adult who weighs 150 or more pounds.
So after Fukushima happened, one of the more distressing things that we learned from people like Paul Gunter, who came on this program regularly, the folks from Beyond Nuclear, is that our government shut down most of our radiation detectors on the West Coast. So we don't know how much radiation we got. But there were a lot of radioactive isotopes that were in a gaseous form, radioactive iodine and others, or particulate matter that was finely aerosolized, the cesium, for example, that got high up enough that it could have gotten here or could have come by the Pacific Ocean. Are you saying explicitly, flat out, that it looks like 14,000 children under the age of 1 in the United States have died?
I'm talking 14,000 deaths.
Okay, so 14,000 total deaths.
So who is the most vulnerable? It's our newborns and young children and the elderly.
I see.
Many of the elderly have, illnesses, right. Cancer or other illnesses that they are dealing with, diabetes, hypertension, this kind of thing. And this kind of exposure sends many just over the edge.
I mean, what's so shocking about this is I think most people think that radiation produces cancer after 10 or 20 years. John Wayne died all those years after that nuclear above ground test in Wyoming or Utah or wherever it was. But you're saying that there's an instantaneous response, relatively speaking.
Well, I'm not saying an instantaneous, but we saw after Chernobyl high rates of thyroid cancer and leukemia. And these occurred within